It's Friday, August 18th, 2023, and this is the Talk Film Society podcast. I am your host, Marcelo Pico, editor-in-chief of Talk Film Society. Here with you, as always, hosting the show, the Talk Film Society podcast, with my co-host, Siobhan Irving. Hello, Siobhan.
Blockbuster time once again, every week.
We're talking blockbusters. That's right, blockbusters.
Yes, baby.
On this mini-series of the Talk Film Society podcast.
Blockbusters.
Which will end, this is what, the first of the final three of the trilogy of the end of this series. Next week, we're going to talk, some more blockbusters.
Week after that?
One more week of blockbusters, and then that's it. And then
okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know we were starting the finale trilogy.
Yeah, this is it. This is like the third. This is the third act of this series now.
What's a movie that's split into three parts for the finale? Like Deathly Hallows or whatever went to two parts. Fast X is doing two parts.
Well, I think initially, Fast X was two parts, but didn't Diesel say on the red carpet when he was high on cocaine with Tyrese, did he say there's going to be three parts now? It's a three-part finale?
Did he? I know they said they wanted to end at 11, which seemed to be like an out to like, okay, 11 can also be a two-part finale.
I mean, yeah, let's get into the Fast and Furious franchise right here.
Let's do it.
Right now.
Blockbusters.
Okay, let's do it. Blockbusters. It's all about blockbusters. I think you mentioned your favorite Fast and Furious movie either last week or the week before. I don't know.
It's 7. It's Fast Furious, right? 7. Okay. Yeah, the one directed by James Wan. I think it's a incredible action film on top of being very emotionally resonant due to circumstances beyond the control of the creators. And I think this man, James Wan, was put in an unwinnable situation, and somehow he not only dug himself out of that giant hole that they put him in, he built a mountain on top of that hole.
Yeah, I love that analogy. You're talking a lot about holes, and I agree. He dug himself out of that hole and created a mound, and that became a mountain. That also became my favorite Fast and Furious movie. Yes, Furious 7 gets the Talk Film Society podcast seal of approval. Finally. So, why did we start talking about this? Oh, yeah, okay. So, the finale of Fast X. On the record, so here's how I took the comments from Vin Diesel. Because he was in Rome, high on cocaine. Did you not see this video, Siobhan?
No, I did see the video.
Yeah.
And he like hugs Tyrese or something.
Yeah, and he's saying, we're in Rome, and his character's name is Rome. It all works. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was a great video.
Yeah, that was great. It's a great video. But
Vin Diesel's a wild guy. I love him.
So he announced it's not going to be a two-parter, it's going to be a three-parter. And then maybe 2 weeks later, The Rock, speaking of The Rock, we haven't talked about him in a while. I don't think we talked about
his candy ass.
I don't think we talked about this on our Southland Tales show. Have a Nice Apocalypse, did we?
The Rock? No, I don't think we've ever brought it up.
No, wait. Let me clarify. I don't think did we talk about the announcement of him coming back to the franchise, to the Fast and Furious franchise? I think we mentioned it, but we didn't talk about the news where he went on Instagram and he said, "Hey, folks, I'm doing another." Who is he? Hobbs or Shaw? He's doing another Hobbs movie. He's Hobbs. It was like a 4-minute video explaining how he's excited to be back. He's gonna do yada yada yada. I think that's part of the 3-part finale, right? So it's gonna be a Fast X, which already came out, then the Hobbs movie, and then Fast X Part 2. I think that's the final 3 films in this run. But they're gonna make more. They're gonna make spinoffs. But that's what we're looking at in the future here at the Fast and Furious franchise. So that's what I believe is going to happen. Siobhan, any thoughts on this?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I've been wanting this for a long time. His presence has definitely been missed in 8 and 9, and I will be glad to have the man back.
All right, so Fast and Furious talk done with. Blockbusters. So what's opening this week? Let's just jump into it. Let's
Yeah, what do we got? What's on the docket?
forget, who we are.
That was the news.
Yeah. We haven't even gotten to the news yet. What's coming out the week of August 18th, 2023? Pop quiz. Siobhan, go.
Okay, so what's coming out in theaters this Friday?
Yeah, this is the first box office game of the show, of this episode.
Oh, no. Okay, so Vampire Dracula boat, right? That happened
yeah, that was last week. I'm going to give you that one. Yeah, that was last week.
How do we follow that up? Like, what's the big one? What's the second punch to that first one?
I'm going to give you a hint. There are two, I'd say big studio movies coming out. Big in quotes. They're two big August releases from two studios.
Two big August releases from two different studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also keep in mind, we've talked about what was coming out this week, last episode, at the end of the show. So, and that we recorded maybe 4 days ago.
Could I receive another hint?
Okay. One of these movies is an original movie. The other movie is a franchise film.
Franchise film, original movie. Aren't they making like a new Hunger Games like prequel or some shit?
Yes, they are, but that's not being released until I think November. November 17th.
All right, we're gonna need one more hint.
Your final hint is one movie has a color in its name. The other movie is a one-word title that could be described as having to do with animals.
Blue skies and the lion.
No. Terrible guesses. Damn. This is the worst you've ever done. Blue Beetle and Strays. Those two movies are out.
I got the color right.
Yeah. Now, that was a fun game.
Oh, Strays. Dear God.
Okay, so you did legitimately forget about Strays. How dare you?
Yes, I did. I wasn't fucking around here. Yeah, so Strays and Blue Beetle. So that's a pretty great week at the box office.
Yeah, so last episode we left it was a cliffhanger. We didn't pick a movie to watch this week.
No, do you want to go into personal talk, or are we just going straight to stuff?
No. This is all building up to what we're going to talk about. And see, what I'm doing is laying the groundwork, okay?
Okay.
This is a tease. I'm leading us up to the topic.
We're teasing. We'll come back to it later.
Yeah. Look, all I'm going to say here is that we're talking Neil Breen. Why are we doing that? I just gave up.
We're going to talk about Strays. What is our closest comp to Strays? We would talk about.
Hey, look.
I said Farce of the Penguins, which nobody should ever watch that movie.
You know what? Okay. Yes, I'll get into why we're talking Neil Breen. Why I forced Siobhan to watch Neil Breen movies this week. But yeah, like you're saying, Siobhan, I looked at a list of talking dog movies or talking animal movies. None of that shit interests me. I would revisit Homeward Bound because that movie I remember seeing as a kid, and I had the VHS. I'd see it over and over. But that's on Disney Plus, and I canceled my Disney Plus subscription 2 months ago. I was forward thinking. I think I did it right before the strikes happened. But okay. And by the way, we are pro union here on the show. I want to put that out there again. Yeah. So I know Homeward Bound crossed off the list. No, and also the other one, Scooby Doo, I was going to suggest, but that's also not on.
That's a good idea, but nah.
It's not on a streaming service either that I have. I don't think it's on any streaming service. I think you have to pay for it. I don't own Scooby Doo. Right. I should own Scooby Doo. Yeah. I like that movie.
There should be a 4K box set of those two.
It would have been. You know what Scooby Doo would have been perfect. You know why?
It would have been. Yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it. That ties into our other podcast.
Also, James Gunn. Wrote the movie.
Director of DC over at Blue Beetle.
Yeah. So Scooby Doo would have been perfect.
It really would have, actually.
I also think it's a summer movie. So,
well,
I'll double check that. but hey,
inspired. But like, we didn't need to do that, and we've talked a lot of DC here already. We had like a big Flash conversation a few episodes ago.
Yeah, the first Scooby-Doo came out in June in 2002. Anyway, yeah, perfect pick. But
But Marcelo didn't tell me about it, so I couldn't say yes to it. So
I kept it to myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pay for Scooby-Doo. We're not doing Scooby-Doo. So
Marcelo's against paying for movies.
Hey, I just came from a movie that I paid for, and I regret that decision. I'm not going to say what the movie is.
We'll talk about that later.
No, we won't. Not this one.
But so, yeah, we gave up on the theme this week. Marcelo just happened to be going to a screening of Neil Breen's, a famed amateur filmmaker, independent filmmaker, Neil Breen, his latest work, Cade, The Tortured Crossing. And Marcelo just texted me out of the blue and said, we're doing Neil Breen this week. And I was like, okay, fuck it. Because I've been meaning to watch this man's movies.
Yeah.
And so we're talking, we're going to be talking some Neil Breen.
And yeah, it was right after the screening. I go, you know what? Yeah, let's do Neil Breen. And you must remember this. That conversation about Gravity. Your viewing of Gravity. And remember we were talking about how, our favorite movie-going experiences and all this. And I specifically said, I like it when there's like an energy in the crowd, when, there are reactions and, to a point. I don't want people talking through a movie, but like, there's energy there at certain screenings. I said all that. We recorded the episode right before I get in my car, drove 10 minutes to the theater that was playing Cade, The Tortured Crossing, the new Neil Breen movie. And I had that experience there. I'll get into it later, but it was quite something. And it was great to experience that in the middle of the dregs of August, where I did not go see Mutant Mayhem. I'm probably not going to now. I didn't go see The Meg 2. Probably not going to now.
Oh, surprised about that one.
I just don't. I don't have it in me to see those movies. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm feeling a bit lost. Got some things going on in the background, whatever. But then this screening, opened my eyes in a whole new way.
Maybe you'll discover who you truly are at your 7th viewing of Barbie.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. No joke. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about: Neil Breen and Cade, The Tortured Crossing. But first, news. This is the news segment.
The news.
Siobhan, go ahead. Talk about the news. What's going on in the news this week, Siobhan?
Yes, absolutely. First off, our first story up for grabs, according to The Hollywood Reporter. Have you seen this fucking Michael O'Hare shit from The Blind Side?
Oh yeah, that's the big news today.
This is actually big news. This has been like wild.
Hold on. Okay, so before you do that, because that's actual news that we can talk about. I have some news related to a movie we talked about last week. The Last Voyage of the Demeter was truly the last voyage of the Demeter at the box office. Ha 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 ha. No, I hate these puns that these trade magazines use, because like I opened up Variety just to look up this article about the Last Voyage of the Demeter bombing at the box office, and the first sentence here says, "The Last Voyage of the Demeter sank without a trace over its opening weekend." Going to a watery grave with just 6.5 million. Anyway,
I also saw some tweet that was like are vampires dead? Because Renfield and Last Voyage of the Demeter came out this year and both bombed. And I'm like, tell me anything about Last Voyage of the Demeter or Renfield that looked good. Was their marketing good? Anything that those two movies had going into them that made anyone think they might make any amount of money. I don't care that they had vampires in them. That's people aren't tired of vampires. They looked like bad movies, and people saw that. What looks like a good movie? Barbie, Oppenheimer, they're making money. Meg 2 looked pretty fun. It's making money.
Is it?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Like shockingly a lot. like it's at like here. Let me click on it right here. I'm on Box Office Mojo.
Okay,
It's already over 250 worldwide.
No, it's a hit then.
It's a hit.
Yeah, I don't know, Siobhan. And also it was the weekend that I went to the lake house. I had a lake house weekend that weekend, I think, when the Meg 2 came out. So if I don't see a movie right away, I just like sit on it and I get into it eventually or not at all. And that might be the case for the Meg 2, but you know what? I'll give you this. I'll try to go see the Meg 2 and I'll report back.
Thank God. Thank you so much.
So,
I saw somebody else talk about how they were like using Last Voyage of the Demeter as proof that online meme marketing doesn't work, as if, but like in my experience that I saw, I didn't see anybody making these Last Voyage jokes until this last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a couple days before the movie came out, they compared it to Barbenheimer, which was like an ongoing joke for months.
Yeah.
So like I think that was silly.
It was silly.
A silly observation from a silly woman.
Because I saw the movie. Cool. I saw the movie Wednesday night, I think, and then that night when I left the theater and I tweeted my my reaction tweet, that's when I started to see the memes. So that was like Wednesday night before the opening on Friday. Whatever. It's dumb. I half read an article.
It's all dumb.
I half read an article like trying to theorize why the Barbenheimer thing happened, because it was one of those. I've seen it compared to like planking and other weird internet stuff, which I guess that makes sense. But like,
yeah, kind of.
It goes beyond that. Like people who are smart enough to know that what movies are good, like us, Siobhan, like you and me. I think we know generally which movies are going to be good, right? We have awareness that, hey, Greta Gerwig's making a movie, Christopher Nolan's making a movie. We're going to go see these movies. At least I am a few times.
Yeah, I haven't been to the theater.
Yeah. Again, I forgot to ask you this. Siobhan, how do you feel about the summer movie season of 2023?
Shaping up nice, baby.
Yeah.
Even though, look, I have to admit, this week in particular, not the most exciting week, but it's been sandwiched in between so much goodness. Like, you can't deny that.
I can't. No. So
absolutely not.
That's Siobhan's update of the summer movie season 2023. Whatever. The end of that point I was going to make was nobody knows how it happened, really, Barbenheimer. I think it certainly helped that there was that awareness of by people like us, Siobhan, that kind of pushed it to like, hey, two good movies are coming out the same day. Couldn't be more different. And then it gets to the I can't even explain it. There's no rhyme or reason why it happened. Just it happened. And I read like 1,000 words and somebody trying to nail it down, and they couldn't. It was nonsense. So much like me talking now, it's nonsense. It makes no sense. So you're right. I can't imagine anybody banking on, there have been a lot of Dracula boat memes in the last 2 days. This thing's going to make $100 million. No. But the movie's good. I said the movie's good, and I'm not surprised that it bombed, because that just happens. Maybe if they released it like in like September, October, and horror movie season,
a different release time seems like that could have been the ticket for that movie.
Yeah, but whatever. That's that news done. Let's go back to this Michael O'Hare business.
Yeah. Okay. So I haven't 100% read into it too much. I've just been seeing tweets about it and stuff. But okay, apparently he is suing. The subject of the Blind Side, Michael O'Hare, Oscar-nominated film, Oscar-winning film for Sandra Bullock. Yeah. Claims he is suing his family, right? and claims that, or maybe he's not suing, I'm not sure, but he claims that he was never actually adopted by the family. They just had him under a conservatorship to exploit his story and his career for their own gain. And they sold his story, wrote that book that became a movie or whatever. He didn't see money out of it. They did. The Tui family sound like terrible people. Not that they seemed that great anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, because it's I'm reading. I did read. Some tweets, half an article on it. I'm reading through another article here on ESPN.com, the leading news source. It says here, the petition by O'Hare alleges that the Tui family, who took O'Hare into their home as a high school student, never adopted him. Instead, less than 3 months after O'Hare turned 18, the couple tricked him into signing documents making them his conservators. What I also read is that the family got a percentage of the... first they sold the rights to O'Hare's story. He got nothing from it. He basically got tricked into signing something that said, "Oh, the studio and the family now owns your story. In perpetuity, you get no residuals, you get nothing." Meanwhile, the family got a percentage of the residuals from the box office. Speaking of box office, and I think their kids, the two kids that appear as characters in the movie, they got like $250,000 each. So they made out like bandits, and O'Hare got nothing.
Can you imagine being this vile of a human, Marcelo? Genuinely.
No, I mean, look, I can't imagine.
But you're okay. You know, for sure, you're going to make $50 million off of doing this. Could you do this?
Could I? Depends on who I'm doing it to. Am I doing it to you?
You're doing it to somebody who seems, by all accounts, to be a sweet man and a talented football player.
Of course, no joking. I can't do it. And and they should be sued. They should be petitioned. Whatever, they need to pay up. Pay up. That's the theme.
A tragedy, a crime.
That's the theme of this series. People need to pay up and shut up. Studios X.
Everybody needs to shut up,
including us.
That movie sucks, by the way. Have you seen Blindside?
No, never have.
Total garbage.
Never had any interest in seeing it. Never had any interest. I almost want to see it now.
One of the worst movies nominated for Best Picture that I've seen.
I almost want to see it now, but then I realize that if I see it now, of course, the family will get the profit from it.
Find a way around giving them profit. I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Good idea. That's a good idea. Okay. So that's the news. We hit it all. Nothing else is going on this week. And now, what have we been watching over there?
What have we been watching over there? Our famous segment. I'll just go ahead and start.
Yeah, where we talk about the things that we've been watching over there.
We've been watching over there.
Siobhan, what have you been watching over there?
What I've been watching over here is I watched the 2008 teen sex comedy Sex Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did recommend at one point to be a commentary, and
I remember that. Yeah,
but I think I ultimately kind of vetoed it myself and gave up on it because I was like, it had been too long since I'd seen it. But now that I've seen it again, great time, really fun, a teen sex comedy in the vein of like American Pie or whatever. I don't think it's as well made as that film. It's too long, first off, but. Like, it is very sweet, very kind-hearted. You got Amanda Crew in there. It was nice to see a young Amanda Crew. A lot of great jokes. I was laughing really hard throughout the thing, which any comedy that can make you laugh. Oh boy, ain't that the good stuff. Strays coming out this week. But no, I totally recommend Sex Drive if anybody is looking for that type of movie. I mean, obviously there's some 2008 kind of gay joke humor in there, but it's pretty minimal, honestly. I think it does well.
I will give it a shot. I've never seen it.
I recommend it. I really do think it'd be a good background movie while you're doing your work.
I think that's why you. Oh, that was a reason why you vetoed it yourself from it being a commentary, because you didn't want to force me to watch something that I hadn't seen before.
Sure.
In the commentary arena.
I know you don't like to do that.
Meanwhile, I do it to you all the time.
I don't mind it. I was good with the Terrifier 2 commentary. Okay,
yeah, that turned out great.
Give us $1. You can listen to that. It's awesome.
Literally.
Moonlight. I watched the Moonlight again.
You watched the Moonlight again?
I loved it even more than the first time I saw it, which I was pretty late to the party. I don't think I saw it until like 2020 or something.
You loser.
But it's a great movie. It's beautiful. It's really, Barry Jenkins is like a phenomenal filmmaker, and I'm so happy for his future, making 3 Lion King movies or something.
It's depressing.
But yeah, it is a really insightful, beautiful, wonderful story. I can't believe this got to Best Picture. It's great. Great performances, everything. It's incredible movie. And I've watched the movies we're going to talk about today, and I guess finally I can say Apostle. You heard of Apostle?
Oh, yeah. I saw that you saw this, Apostle. That's by my good old boy, what's his name? Gareth Evans. Yeah. I said it. And you said
not
it too.
Gareth Edwards.
No, confusing.
I have to remind myself.
Yeah.
What did Gareth Evans do? He's made cool movies.
He's doing, oh, God, is he the one?
The Raid. He did the Raid movies.
Yeah. Well, no, wait, now I'm getting confused. Hold on. Gareth Evans, did the Raid movies, and he did Apostle. And Edwards did Rogue One and the other one that's coming out.
Whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
So Gareth Evans,
the creator,
I think, is pretty obviously the more interesting filmmaker in my eyes. Apostle's cool. I owe it another watch, because I'm going to be honest, I was kind of half watching it on my phone, which does not work for this movie. There's a lot of kind of like there's a complex plot that's told kind of not in the most straightforward way that I could never pick up on. But when I finally started to pay attention was in like the final half hour of the movie, and there are these absolutely wild visuals going on, some like very crazy inventive stuff, freaky shit. I would recommend it, even though I don't have the biggest leg to stand on there.
You don't have the biggest leg to stand on in terms of you didn't see it in the right way, because is what you're saying?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I can't say anything because I saw this in a theater the week it opened at Fantastic Fest. So I had a great experience watching it. But I remember, wow, it was one of my favorites of that year, of 2018. And I was totally on board for another Gareth Evans movie after seeing The Raid 2. This is not either of those. And even I was like, what is this? This is kind of slow. This is not what I wanted in a Gareth Evans movie. But as soon as I got over that, I did enjoy a lot of it. There's like one scene where it does feel like, oh, he decided to make it The Raid 2 all of a sudden.
Yeah. There is like one kind of like action fight scene.
Yeah. But
that is like really cool.
Other than that, I mean, it's been 5 years since I've seen it, but I just remember Dan Stevens, the star of the movie, just crawling around in mud for 2 hours straight. That's my memory of it. It's good.
Essentially.
Yeah, but it's good. I do like it. And I think that same year, I think it was that year or another year, there's like a string of like pretty good Netflix movies. Remember that one with like Thomas Jane, and it's a Stephen King movie? I think that also came out that same year.
The Mist?
No.
No, a different Thomas Jane Stephen King.
Hold on, let me see if I'm right. Thomas Jane Stephen King movie. Okay, The Mist comes out. Oh, 1922. 1922.
I know this.
Says here it came out, the year before. In 2017. I was close. But no, hey, if you have Netflix, which I don't, I canceled that subscription too. Check out 1922. starring Thomas Jane, based on a Stephen King, I think, short story. 1922. I'm looking it up. It's a novella. Of course, it's a fucking novella. I should have guessed. It's good. That's all I'll say.
Sick. What have you been watching over there, Marcelo?
Oh, it's my turn now. Okay, let me dig up my diary. I failed to mention this. I didn't fail because I'm planning to talk more about it next week. But I did see Gran Turismo. I saw that.
What's this? I didn't know you did. No way.
Yeah. I mean,
based on a true story?
Yeah, I saw Gran Turismo based on a true story.
Wow.
I went to one of their special screenings. If you're listening to this, I think this movie opens up in a week from now, right? They've been showing preview screenings for the last 3 weeks. Our mutual friend Mike Schindler pointed this out. There are screenings this past weekend, Saturday, Sunday, next weekend, the weekend this is coming out, Saturday, Sunday, leading up to the release officially next week. Anyway, I was bored on a Saturday night. Girlfriend's out of town. What am I going to do? I'm going to watch the Loud Racing movie in the Dolby Theater. Did I like it or not? Listen next week. I'll give you a full review. But I did see it. But that's not what I want to talk about. I did see Oppenheimer again.
Is that one 3 or 4?
4. I've seen it 4 times. I've seen Oppenheimer 4 times.
So you've been in the movie theater for, let's say, 14 hours conservatively just to see that movie.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. About the time I've spent watching one movie. I liked seeing it again this time because I went to a sold out show is what I'm trying to say, and there was a long line getting in. This was at the IMAX theater downtown in Austin here.
People in suits. The
Bob Bullock Theater at the museum, and it was a sold out show, and people were in line buzzed about it. I was buzzed. I was drinking beer, but they were a buzz about it. The people in front of me were like, "Oh yeah, I normally don't see movies twice in theaters, but this is so good." Just normal people talking how great this movie is before even seeing it.
That's great. You like to hear that, right?
Yeah, I do. And another great screening of it. I still haven't seen it on film. Probably never will. Sorry, Christopher Nolan, but I had to see it one more time because they extended the run here at that big museum IMAX screen. So I had to see it there because I hadn't seen it there before. All right, Oppenheimer, still pretty good. Not his best. See how it does. When it comes to Oscars. Siobhan, any predictions on Oppenheimer's Oscar chances?
It's pretty safe to say it'll do something. It'll get nominated and stuff.
I like where your head's at.
We're going to get Cillian Murphy Best Actor nominations. Mm-hmm. We're going to get Florence Pugh Best Supporting Actress nominations. We're going to get Robert Downey Jr. Best Supporting Actor nominations. We're going to get Best Picture nominations. We're going to get Best Visual Effects nominations. These are things, production design probably.
Yeah.
These are things set in stone. Wardrobe, score. Set in stone that they will be nominated. But will they be overdrawn by some new films that we have yet to see? That is the real question, Marcelo. And that I cannot say. I cannot predict the future. Hey, do you think Barbie has a good chance at production design? Because honestly, that looks cool as hell.
I think so. Not to make this our Oscar show, which...
No, that'll come back as soon as this one ends, right?
We'll see about that. I do think Barbie's going to get some Oscar nominations. I do. Technical stuff like production design, shoo-in. Costume design, absolutely. Best song, I'd say yeah. Long shot would be not that big of a long shot. Ryan Gosling, supporting actor. He's got a good chance. I mean, if we talked about this a few weeks ago, if you can nominate fucking Johnny Depp for leading actor in fucking Pirates of the Caribbean. Leading actor. He got a leading actor Oscar nomination. Johnny Depp did for Pirates. Get Ryan Gosling in there for supporting actor for Barbie. I think he deserves it. Possibly Margot Robbie. That's the bigger long shot. But then when you get to Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, I mean, listen. Siobhan, listen to me. Barbie is this year's Top Gun Maverick, in my book. 2 blockbusters that made a lot of money.
A populist film.
Crowd-pleasing. They're actually good movies. I think both Top Gun Maverick, Barbie, dare I say, maybe equally great, films that I think deserve recognition. I would totally just say, yeah, I'm rooting for a Greta Gerwig nomination, either director, writer, and Best Picture, maybe. That's maybe the biggest long shot. But hey, gonna save this energy for when we get to the Oscar season podcast series in a few months. All right. That was Oppenheimer. And then I saw 2 great 80s movies I've never seen before. I saw Valley Girl and Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Both on the big screen, by the way. I don't know why they played these 2 movies. Well, I know why they played these 2 movies. Valley Girl, they played because it was the, 40th anniversary. It came out in 1983. And, of course, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, yeah, in honor of Paul Rubens. But it was funny seeing these this past weekend. Like, I saw Valley Girl on Saturday and saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure on Sunday. Turned out to be great 80s films to watch in a theater with a packed audience.
Cool.
Both co-starring Elizabeth Daly. Siobhan, do you know who Elizabeth Daly is?
That's Andy Daly's mother?
No, close enough. Well, have you seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure? You have, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but it's been a while.
Yeah, she's Dottie. She plays Dottie.
She's Dottie. E.G. Daly. And
yeah.
It's like all uppercase for some reason.
Yeah.
She looks cool as hell.
Also known as Elizabeth Daly. She's got a great career. She's also in Streets of Fire. She's great in that movie. But I didn't realize, or I didn't make the connection, that she's also the voice of Tommy Pickles on the Rugrats. And also has a lot of voice acting credits. But I had Elizabeth Daly double feature because she was in both movies. I just wanted to point that out. Elizabeth Daly is great. And these 2 movies are great. That's what I saw this past weekend. That's, Siobhan, I think, what I have seen over here in Texas.
All right. So we've seen what each of us have seen over there. So it's time for our 3rd segment. Do we have a 3rd segment?
Our 3rd segment is now what we call the meat of the episode. The protein.
Okay.
Why we're here.
Yes, this is you buy your hamburger and you take off the bun, the lettuce, the pickle, the tomato, and you take all that stuff off. You scrape it off with a napkin, and then you just use a knife and a fork to eat your burger, your plain burger.
That's right, folks. We're talking Neil Breen. Okay, so continuing that conversation we were having before. Yeah, after I saw Cade the Tortured Crossing in a theater last week, I'm like, Siobhan, Neil Breen, you in? And you said yeah. So let's go back to that moment of you getting the news that I was like, okay, we're doing a Neil Breen episode. Cut to you, Siobhan. You said earlier you wanted to see the man's work before, but why did you want to see the man's work? Like, tell me what your awareness was of Neil Breen before you got that text from me saying Neil Breen, question mark?
My awareness of him is that I knew he was an independent filmmaker who like financed his own movies or whatever and made them all entirely out of the system. And I know that he has a reputation for being kind of memey, like his jokes aren't, or his movies aren't well made, blah, blah, blah. I've seen some clips that like people laugh at and stuff. And I also know that like everything I've seen kind of points to when I was watching them, it became very apparent, and I had this feeling that like things I like, that I tend to like, feel like they've been inspired by Neil Breen's work. That odd editing that like comes along with like Tim Heidecker stuff and on cinema, and our second best friend, very true, her work. Like, and I knew that she was a big fan of. I know she's a fan of Neil Breen. in particular, and like I am like always seeking out her recommendations because literally 100% of the time I'm in line with her. And then also, out of the blue, Neil Breen followed me one day.
Oh.
And on Twitter, and he follows a good amount of people, but he doesn't just follow everybody for some reason. He follows like 1/5 of his followers or something like that. So I still felt honored by it. And
does he still follow you?
He does, yes.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, I checked yesterday. Oh, well, maybe something changed today, but I felt like it was stolen valor. I wasn't a true Neil Breen fan. I knew I liked the guy just from like how he worked, his story that what little I did know about it. But
yeah,
I knew I needed to actually get into his films one day, his work, and I was happy to have whatever dumb excuse to do it.
And here's the dumb excuse: the Talk from Society podcast. Now, just some background for people who don't know who Neil Breen is, and I hope you Googled the name if you didn't know. I'm sure I put it in the episode title description. But Neil Breen, I think, to me, and this goes into my awareness of him, to me he did pop up like 2012, 2013 on my radar because people were sharing a clip from Fateful Findings, his 2012 film. People were sharing the clip of him getting angry and tossing his laptop. Or no, he tosses a book and said, "No more books." Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That clip was shared online and people were laughing. Haha, I laughed. Haha, what is this? This is funny.
Tee-ha. Ooh.
Yeah, but yeah, that's when I found out that he's his own director, writer, producer, editor, actor, cinematographer, and also production designer, manager, casting, set design, wardrobe, props, lighting design, special makeup effects, locations, administrative, accounting, craft services, makeup, hair, and sound editor. He does all that on all of his films, pretty much. And I never sat down and watched a Neil Breen film until earlier this year when I finally watched one at this place in town called Hotel Vegas screens these films by this film club called Hyperreal. I've been to a lot of their film screenings, and I went to Fateful Findings here at this Hotel Vegas, this bar that just screens these movies. I'm like, okay, never seen it before. Be fun to see it with a crowd. What a screening. It was ridiculous. It was exactly what I want in something like this where, let me tell you this. I guess I'm just going to get into it. I just saw a movie tonight that I did not enjoy in a theater. Should I even say what it is? I don't want to be too negative, but to me, it was a low budget movie from the 80s. Some craft in it, but overall poorly made, and not fun. It's supposed to be fun. The gimmick of this movie was supposed to be fun, but I just was stone-faced throughout the whole thing. Pretty much. It made me laugh a few times. But when I watch a Neil Breen film, like I watched, Fateful Findings or Cade, the Tortured Crossing, this man who does all this work making these movies, he and his films are entertaining. I could not stop laughing, enjoying myself while watching Fateful Findings when I did earlier this year. Same for Cade, the Tortured Crossing. I have fun watching these movies, even though, yes, you could say they're bad. They're poorly made. The script is oddball. The acting is maybe bad. I don't know. But it's entertaining. I respect this filmmaker, Neil Breen, because there's so much to me like his only ceiling is like the budget he has. He's self-funding these movies. But I can tell there's passion behind it.
He doesn't let that get in the way of his vision.
Exactly,
no matter what that means.
He has this vision, and nothing will stop him to get that vision.
Yes.
I see that in these movies, and that's why I get excited talking about Neil Breen now. I'm a full Neil Breen fan.
He feels like an artist, right?
Yeah, he does feel like an artist.
He really does feel like an auteur, if you will.
Okay, so that's the groundwork here. So hopefully people now know who Neil Breen is. People compare him to. I'll say this and then I'll toss it back to you, Siobhan. But people have compared him to like Tommy Wiseau, but I don't fully agree with that. I
don't agree with that either.
Yeah, there's a New York Times profile on Neil Breen that I just read today. It was published with me 2 weeks ago in anticipation of Cade the Tortured Crossing. And I agree with this writer. I should pull up the writer. Where the writer of this article, Rumsey Taylor, great name, he basically said that, the direct comparison is maybe Tommy Wiseau, or who's another bad filmmaker? I don't know. But
Ed Wood.
Ed Wood, yes. But, Ed Wood, made some classics, but I guess was never fully recognized until he passed away for just how, passionate he was as a filmmaker. It was always the butt of the joke for the longest time, Ed Wood. And also Tommy Wiseau, butt of the joke. Tommy Wiseau more like, he did The Room, but beyond that, he did like a Hulu show, and he acted some. But
did he make Best Fiends?
No, I think I think the other guy did. Greg Sestero, I think his name is. But with Breen, the man's been working over 10 years now. He's made 5 films.
Oh, way more.
Yeah,
he's almost at 20.
He's almost at 20. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. 2005, Double Down, his first movie. Almost 20 years working. And for God's sakes, Cade, The Tortured Crossing, which is the one I saw last week, and you haven't seen it yet.
Sequel to Twisted Pair, by the way, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. He is on fire. The things he does in Cade, The Tortured Crossing, I mean, as soon as we start talking about these films individually, I'll get to why Cade is such a triumph in the Neil Breen fashion. But I'm just so eager to see what he does next. Unfortunately, Ed Wood never got that. I don't think while he was still alive. Tommy Wiseau couldn't live up to the hype of The Room. But Neil Breen, he is living, walking proof that if you have a vision and you're so dedicated to that vision, there'll be people there to see your movies, whether they're good or bad. So that's Neil Breen.
We've talked about this a little before. What do you think the vibe is? Do you think the vibe of that theater, are they laughing at this movie, or are they laughing?
Okay. Interesting point. So let's go to Cade, The Tortured Crossing. Let's go to that screening. I was kind of expecting something like, okay, this crowd, this Alamo Drafthouse, Austin crowd, sometimes they do get on my nerves, when it comes to laughing at movies, when they shouldn't be laughing at movies. But my whole thing with Neil Breen is I can laugh, sure, but I still want to see this movie. I still want to see this man's vision. There is some laughing at it, but oh my God, there are moments where people were cheering, people were clapping, and people were saying, "Yes, Neil." I do feel that his fans, and I'm one of those fans. I think sometimes, yes, I do laugh at the man, but also there's this respect that I'm okay,
yeah,
whatever that was I just saw, he pulled it off, and it is what it is. What it is. It elicited a reaction from me and this audience. And by the end, we were all Neil Breen fans. I can compare it to maybe, when I saw RRR last year in a theater, I never did get one of those people dancing in the aisles and people shouting and screaming. I never got one of those screenings. Whoops. And the movie itself, I think, was okay. The screening when I went to go see Cade, The Tortured Crossing is what I imagine those our screenings are. People shouting, people screaming, people having fun. But yeah, to answer your question, I think for the most parts, those are Neil Breen fans there to watch a movie, to be entertained by it. I think
that's great.
There is part of it that, yes, of course, it's ridiculous, it's silly, but I don't know. It's really hard to pin down. It isn't one way or the other. It's very. And I did try to watch some Neil Breen interviews, but I couldn't make it past a few minutes because there's this video being shot from the audience, and I think he's a smart guy, Neil Breen. I think he knows why some people watch his movies, but I still think he's so committed to his vision that I think he's having his cake and eating it too. He's making his vision, but I think he also understands he's the butt of a joke sometimes. But I don't know. He's still doing it. He's still making these insane things.
He's
I'm
happy to be entertaining people.
Yes, I think so.
No matter what that means.
Yeah. But I will say, and we can talk about the movies individually now, but like I will say, Cade the Torture Crossing, it doesn't feel winky to me like other, quote unquote, so bad they're good movies. Like the movie I watched earlier this evening, which I won't name, where it's like, oh yeah, this is bad, ha ha ha. Can't you tell how bad this is? This is fun, right? Like I've never seen the Sharknado movies, but I imagine the Sharknado movies are like that, right?
Oh God, yeah. That's all they are. After the first one, the first one's less like that, but like Neil Breen, I get total sincerity out of him. Yeah, that's 100%.
What it is, sincerity. But yeah, when you do that, you ride the line of are they laughing at you or with you? It's all very ambiguous to me. I'm laughing at him. I'm also laughing with him. I'm enjoying. I will go out and see Cade the Torture Crossing again in the theater if it were playing. Apparently, it's not. Apparently, he wants to keep the screenings of it low, and I don't know why. But if he were. I'm not going to say if he were smart. I think he's a smart guy. But he should know that if he decided to play this more in theaters, like make it more like a midnight movie, which is another thing he doesn't like, by the way. He doesn't like his movies being played late. When he booked Cade the Torture Crossing at theaters, apparently he told theaters, you must play this at 7 p.m. It's like, okay. And also, one of the theater programmers was like, can you send a screener over before, we start showing this just so we can see it first? And he responded back, we've seen my other movies, so no, I'm not going to send you this one.
Hell yeah, dude. Power move.
Yeah, and I forget what my point was, but, no. If he realized that, people like me would be so enthused about seeing this in a theater and would be happy to go again because that experience was just so special. If those screenings happened, if they popped up more and more, the next few weeks and things get rolling and, more and more of these screenings happen and people go crazy, he'd roll in the dough and he'd it'd be amazing if this caught on, kind of like RRR did. That's my example.
He could be Tommy Wiseau. He could rest on his laurels, sell these movies that people are going to laugh at, like make it a Fathom event or whatever. And I genuinely think he could do that and probably live a nice life off that. But I don't know. He's an artist. He's fucking David Lynch sending in the orders of please play this in this aspect ratio, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, and it's probably all according to his plan of just maybe not getting overexposed or not having too many people watch his movie. But he's very confident in okay, there's going to be a certain amount of people watching this movie. I'll make a certain amount of money, and I'll be confident in that. He won't lose his edge. Maybe he doesn't want to go to those heights of a Tommy Wiseau. So yeah, I think he's smart. Yeah, he's smart.
Make enough money to make the next movie and then move on.
Yeah. So the movies. So okay. I'll go through them and then we'll come back and talk about which ones we saw. But he started with 2005's Double Down. Then 2009 he did I Am Here ... Now. There are 4 dots there. 2012 Fateful Findings. 2016 Pass Through. 2018 Twisted Pair. 2020 Neil Breen's 5-film retrospective. Yeah, it's Neil Breen's 5-film retrospective, which is a 5-hour documentary on, and he makes this very clear in his promotion for this. They're not the makings of his 5 movies. He explains the process of how he made each movie.
Amazing.
And he's selling these to film schools and teachers. That's his main target audience for this
incredible
5-film retrospective, which is at least $100 or so. I looked. I wanted to buy it. I did not buy it.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah. Maybe I clicked on the wrong button, but it was pricey, very pricey. And then 2023, Cade, The Tortured Crossing. So, Siobhan, to you, which one did you end up seeing first? And also, how many did you see?
I saw 3 films. I didn't know that I was going to see this many because it was just 2 nights ago that I saw my first one. I had been told in the past that Fateful Findings was the right way to start, and so I decided to just take people's suggestion and start there. And after seeing Fateful Findings, I went to Twisted Pair, knowing that it was the first part. The one that you saw, Cade, The Tortured Crossing, was a sequel to Twisted Pair. So that's why I watched Twisted Pair. And then that same night, I went and watched Pass Through, because I kind of just got obsessed. I got into this rhythm. Like I really just wanted to keep watching his movies. Like like my experience was like the first 20 minutes or so of Fateful Findings, I was like, oh no, this is just a joke. People are laughing at this guy. I'm not really into this. And then I don't know. It's like, I don't know what happened, but at a certain point I actually did genuinely kind of get swept up in it. And I was like, I'm enjoying this a lot. Like it kind of just like a switch flipped. And, like, I think like I kind of started to get it a little more, and I saw what he was going for, and I thought it was cool. And then basically I just kept that feeling where like, I just want to keep rolling on this guy's movies. I don't want to stop. I'm in a Neil Breen attitude right now. I don't keep everybody else away from me. But so one thing I loved Fateful Findings. It was okay. It might have been my favorite I saw. It might be Twisted Pair. I'm not sure. But something amazing about Fateful Findings is that this is a movie about a man who uses magical powers to hack into government agencies all across the world to expose their secrets. And it takes place entirely in like just some suburban homes and focuses on weird relationship drama between these two couples that live next door. Like about housewives that don't wear bras, taking pills, and asshole husbands polishing up the mirrors on their sick Ferraris. Like, that's just I don't think we ever see an instance of hacking. We just get told, I am hacking. Like, he does not get his plots across very well, which is, no. It's fine. It's fine. What I think he does do very well is I think he creates fun characters, and the dialogue he has is kind of fun, and like awkward line readings, weird editing choices, maybe lingering on a shot for too long, or sometimes he just like plays the same like snippet a couple times in a row and it feels like it's accidental. Or he has like effects that are like, stuff like this really endears me to a movie, where like his effect of like a black void that he's like being submersed in is just him like sitting in a room that has black trash bags taped to the walls. Naked. He's naked. Like, it's just this kind of stuff that like I had such a good time watching. This is just Fateful Findings. I just had such a great time watching it. And it ends with a bunch of fucking CEOs and politicians blowing their brains out on
which is
the Washington Monument or whatever.
One thing we should also mention, well, the ones I saw all had these, thankfully, like leftist ideals in it.
Neil is fucking based, all right? Straight up,
like,
he is.
But like just no nonsense. Okay, because in Twisted Pair, because you said you saw Twisted Pair, right?
I did see Twisted Pair, yeah. That was very political.
That's the one I saw before this recording. earlier in the day. That's the movie I had fun with today, is Twisted Pair. Because it has literally a scene where Neil Breen, as I forget who he was playing, either Cade or his twin brother, was like...
Kale,
yeah. Kale, his twin brother, was torturing like 3 executives.
I could not figure out who was torturing those. I think it was supposed to be Kale, and Cade didn't know about it, but I don't think he ever had the beard in those scenes. Or he had the beard like later in the movie, but not earlier. I don't know.
It's hard to keep track, honestly, of who's who, because I think it was Cade. Anyway, the point is, his characters in these movies, his good guys, are always against like these corporations, these government conspiracies.
Yeah,
he's always on the side of good. He says it. He says it himself in his movies, especially in Cade the Tortured Crossing. He is on the side of good. And he trains warriors of good to fight against evil. That's the main premise of that movie. But yeah, that ending of Fateful Findings, where he either like shoots his scenes, I'm assuming in the offices where he works, as like, I don't know what he does. He's an accountant or something, Neil Breen, or just his home, or just a green screen, or just like a park. Those are his locations, just real locations or a green screen. But by the end, it's all green screen. He's out like on a podium in front of like, I don't know where, the Supreme Court, saying something about, corporations being evil, yada, yada, yada. People are applauding. There's this fake applause track that just keeps going and going and going. And then as he does this, we see CEOs, executives blowing their brains out. It's just against green screen background.
This is Fateful Findings, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, Fateful Findings, yeah. So that's the end of Fateful Findings. And when I saw that...
They don't just all blow their brains out. For some reason, a couple of them, like one of them goes to their car and turns it on in their garage. One of them goes to their car and takes a bunch of pills. And then like 3 of them shoot themselves in the head.
But it's done in such an insane way where, again... I respect this ending because I would not have expected, the 6 CEOs to, commit suicide in, one scene after another. I guess, it took me by surprise. Because how does one do that? There's no way in getting into this man's brain. You mentioned David Lynch earlier. I can say, like, this is David Lynch, but just without... the acclaim and the money.
Yes, I fully agree. 100%.
Yeah.
He is my closest comp. Like you said you don't like saying Tommy Wiseau. I don't either. I want to compare him more to David Lynch.
Or because
Edward.
I'd say both comparisons work because that ending of Fateful Findings, again, it is wild. People in my audience when I saw that, just to add a room of like, I don't know, like 30, maybe not even that, 40 people watching Fateful Findings on a projector in a bar earlier this year, they went insane. I went insane. I was like, oh my God, how again, to get into the mind of Neil Breen, how did he do that? how did he come up with that ending where, again, 6 CEOs blow their brains out and commit suicide?
Maybe he's just like, this is what the people want to see. This is what I want to see.
And we got it.
And by the way, I'm just going to go to Pass Through right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Holy shit.
Now, this is one you saw, I did not see.
Yes. Okay, so Pass Through, look, it's boring. Like, there are probably like 40 minutes of just Neil Breen walking through the Nevada desert and doing nothing. And the rest of the movie, like, Neil's barely in it, actually. Like he is still the star, but like there's a lot of time that he's not on screen, which is shocking.
Interesting.
Basically the plot of that one is that he is some like higher being who's come back to Earth. His artificial intelligence from far into the future arrives to immediately cleanse the human species of millions of humans who are harmful to other humans, a visionary, revolutionary film which pushes the human species to the limits of controversial, thought-provoking actions. So, like, look, that's the description on the poster, by the way. You have to read his posters to understand his plots. If you thought him showing a couple CEOs and politicians blowing their brains out was extreme, oh baby, get ready for pass through. I don't want to say too much, but like, there's a lot more of that in there. Even though I'll preface it by saying the movie's not the best, and that's his most overtly political movie I've seen, and I'll say he's 95% of the way there. There are a couple things that like he might have brought up, like social justice or whatever, but whatever, it didn't get too in the way. But yeah, pass through. I would still recommend it, absolutely. But the worst of the three I saw.
Interesting. Yeah, I will check it out. I will, of course. But we now we got to talk about Twisted Pair some more.
Twisted Pair. This one. Yeah, I saw. Baby. You saw. Something I need to reveal. I didn't know Cade the Tortured Crossing was a sequel to Twisted Pair until today. You watched them in reverse.
I'm like, wait a second. Wait,
until you recognize the characters in Twisted Pair? Is that it?
When I read the description of Twisted Pair, I go, wait a second. This is the first movie featuring his character Cade. I didn't know after watching the entirety of Cade the Tortured Crossing that it was a sequel. Because I just took it as granted. I just took whatever was happening during Cade the Tortured Crossing as like, okay, this is a movie. There's no connection to anything else. This is just happening on screen. This is random. I don't get it. But I'll tell you this, Siobhan. After seeing Twisted Pair, I can still say I have no idea what the hell's going on in either movie. This did not help me in understanding Cade the Tortured Crossing. Watching Twisted Pair.
Let's read the poster here. Identical twin brothers become hybrid AI artificial intelligence entities, yet are torn in different directions to achieve justice for humanity.
Okay. I'm glad you read that, because that clarifies a few things.
One of them is supposed to be like the good brother and the bad brother. They both want the same goals, but one of them is going about it in the wrong way. Like, it's kind of like the only one that's coming to mind right now is Black Panther.
Yes.
Right.
I'd say, yeah, you can make that direct comparison. This, you can say Black Panther stole this idea from Twisted Pair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. What I like about these movies is just again, like I said earlier when we talked about Fateful Findings, unexpected. Sort of similar to how you're saying how in Fateful Findings, the first minutes or so, you're like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, this is bad, people making fun of it, whatever. But then it gets you. It hooks you. That's what happened with me in Twisted Pair. I had it on as I worked today, but I just could not look away. I had to keep focusing on Twisted Pair. There's a scene where he runs into this woman. And he drops his phone. She drops her papers. And he goes, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh no." Literally, the scene is they're screaming at each other automatically. Like, "Oh no, 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 no." She goes, "Oh no, no, no." He goes,
"No,
automatically.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. I'll help you. Oh, you should go to dinner. I'll take you to dinner. I'll take you to dinner. Come here. Meet me back here at 8 p.m. We'll go to dinner. Meet me back here at 8 p.m. I'm so sorry. I'll make this up to you. Meet me back here at 8 p.m. We'll go to dinner."
It's no exaggeration. That's all he says, like screaming it at her, and she goes, "No, I have a boyfriend," and she pushes him away. It is wild, and
at that point, I was going like, "Oh no, Neil, what the fuck?"
that was the first moment I think where it hooked me, because I'm like, "What is this?" And then I don't want to give.
She doesn't meet him back at dinner. She does not meet her back there at 8 p.m.
I want to talk about this moment because like this moment is. I don't want to talk too much about this movie either. I don't want to leave it kind of a mystery, but this moment is quintessential Neil Breen for me. Where yes, you're saying Siobhan, like she doesn't meet him at 8. He goes okay. The next scene, this is Hey, folks listening, get ready for this. Next scene, she is at her apartment. He walks into her apartment. They start fighting. I'm like, oh my, Neil, what are you doing? What's happening? He goes, you didn't meet me at 8, you bitch. He says that. She takes a painting, slams it over his head, Looney Tunes style, and they're fighting for seemingly 5 minutes straight, like on the couch. And then what happened, Siobhan? You tie this up.
So yeah, they're fighting. He's like grabbed her from behind and is like trying to restrain her, and then all of a sudden they just snuggle up together.
They start kissing. That's the reveal.
Start talking sweet.
That is, again, who thinks of that?
The introduction to these characters is this husband and wife, basically, I think, is that they have this weird rape play thing that they like
psychosexual to sort of thing. Pretend they're strangers, and then go out and have. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that reveal was there, because otherwise,
this movie's a lot kinkier. There's that weird thing. There's the corporate businessman getting tied up with chains and shot and stuff. There's like drug addictions, abuse. It's a lot more violent. He swears more.
Oh yeah, and like Siobhan said earlier, from reading the poster, they have, or at least Cade, our hero, has like superpowers, right? He's like bred from AI. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So early on in the movie, he helps some soldiers through a burning building. Every now and then he reminds you that he has powers by like jumping 30 feet into the air.
Now, can we describe this? Can we? And again, this is for folks who don't know, who haven't seen a Neil Breen anything, but he. I guess I mentioned it now. In Cade, the tortured crossing, like 99% of that movie is shot on green screen, which is Is it
all in that like purple place?
The purple. No, some of it is. I won't get into it, but what I'm saying is Neil Breen, I think, has now become the James Cameron. He's in his James Cameron phase, where like his vision is constantly like getting bigger. It's progressively getting bigger and bigger. His vision is what I'm saying. And in Twisted Pair, we see these scenes where, yes, they're action, but the action is literally like a Photoshop, like dragging, these pixels of Neil Breen jumping up. Like you can basically see the image moving, like a cut. I can't even describe what it is. It's like a cutout image of Neil Breen, like being moved up, a still image.
Like if you've ever seen some awkward Tim and Eric bits, like I swear to God, it's that exact stuff.
Yeah, but like that sort of stuff you see in Twisted Pair, of these action moments of like Neil Breen being, photoshopped in these like still images, that is 99% Cade the Tortured Crossing. And that's why I think he is unbound now by his, there's no limits for him now, Neil Breen.
Untethered.
He's untethered. He's mastered the green screen, I think, in Cade the Tortured Crossing. But in Twisted Pair, you do see some of it. You do see like him playing with the medium, which is what gets me excited. Like he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna pay for a set. I'm not gonna go outside. It seems like a lot of this movie, Twisted Pair, was shot like in an abandoned like mall. Like it was after midnight. They went to this one location and shot the entire movie there, like at night. Because like I think some CEOs get murdered like at the front steps of this place. And then Cade takes his girlfriend to a restaurant that was empty, which basically looks like
it's the exact same place.
The exact same place. And then when they first meet,
place where they first meet, the homeless guy's there. It's
all filmed in like the same square block of wherever, whatever city he's in. And also Neil Breen, by the way, uses a lot of stock footage. And I'm assuming he buys from just like stock footage websites. But I don't know. The magic is there, right? We can say the magic is there in Twisted Pair too, right? Siobhan, what else?
Yeah.
What else happens in Twisted Pair?
Isn't this the one where he hugs the eagle?
Yeah. I don't understand why that eagle plays a big role. Like that eagle shows up at least twice.
He comes back. Yeah, he comes back to it later in the film.
Yeah. Also, again, just stock footage of an eagle that he just photoshopped himself in.
He's supposed to be like okay, let me go back to the poster. Identical twin brothers become hybrid AI, artificial intelligence entities.
By the way, I like that he uses stock footage in his movies with some guy in a hoodie. Like, that's part of the stock footage. And he makes his evil twin just him in a beard and a fake beard and a hoodie just to match the stock footage. Like,
that beard's really interesting. Yeah. Sometimes it looks pretty decent, actually, and then other times it does not. I think it's the mustache that kind of fucks it up. But like the beard around it, like I don't know, it looked fine to me.
Well, some guy literally has a fake mustache taped to his face. One of the CEOs. I don't think I noticed it. I noticed it. but okay, I'll say this too, real quick. In his movies, yes, some of it is cut together so oddly. But I'll say this in terms of the filmmaking, and also some of the audio drops off so weirdly. Like sometimes there's silence when there shouldn't be silence. But for the most part, he knows how to put a movie together. I'll give him that. Yes. It's not as bad as like
he knows what he's doing. Like,
it's not as bad as it's not as bad as like Birdemic, right? Where that to me is it's fun to watch in a lot more of a this is bad sort of way.
I would not call this incompetent, like, at all.
No. Yeah, that's what I want to get. That's the point I want to make. It's not incompetent, especially when you look at Cade the Tortured Crossing. But in parts of this, there's some of that in there. There's some incompetence, but not completely. He knows what he's doing. He knows what shots he needs, but he still gets his actors from Craigslist. That's what he... which
The fun overacting of everybody around him is great.
Yeah.
Always a highlight. I wanted to go back to Fateful Findings when he finds his friend that has committed suicide or has been killed and framed as being a suicide. Here's his line read, and I've just written this as one long run-on sentence because he never takes any pauses during any of this. He's holding his friend who's dead in his arms, full of blood everywhere. He does good with blood effects, honestly.
Yeah.
When he gets run over at Fateful Findings, like, it looks nasty. Anyway, I can't believe you've committed suicide. I cannot believe you've committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide? I don't know. It's just silly stuff like that. Okay, and my last thing with Twisted Pair, I think. The end of the film. Okay, oh, here's an awesome thing I love. That like is just like a fucking like a baller move. I think you're going through the credits. You do see a lot of Neil Breen. You see directed, produced, edited by Neil Breen or whatever, starring Neil Breen. Neil Breen co-edited. Neil Breen produced. And then, but other things like let's say craft services. It'll say like N Tasty Eats. and then at the end of and for lighting it'll say B's Great Lighting or whatever, and at the end of the credits he has like a reveal. He's like, everything that you saw above that had either an N or a B in it was actually just Neil Breen. so he does literally like every job on his sets, which is awesome. Like, I love that dedication.
That dedication. I
love to imagine him going home at night and like cooking up a big meal for the cast and for the cast.
See, this is why I cannot make fun of him completely. I can make fun of him a little bit, but he has his dedication. I want him to continue making movies like this. Let me talk about Cade the Tortured Crossing a bit more. It's a sequel to Twisted Pair. It's just as like visionary as Twisted Pair, but to me it's better. I'll admit, like I was saying before, it seems like he's improving, ever so gradually as a filmmaker. And I'm interested in the stuff he's doing with his green screen. I saw the 10-minute trailer for his 5-hour 5-film retrospective, which again I kind of want to see. I want to get inside this man's brain. But in that 10-minute trailer, you see footage of his green screen, and it's the size of like a Robert Rodriguez green screen. Like he could have shot Sin City there, and you can sense that. I'm guessing he got he got that studio space from the money he's making from his past films. He's putting it back into the filmmaking, and you can tell he's playing with the medium of this green screen in a way nobody ever really does. Should they? Probably not. But he's playing around with it. There are scenes it's like, Siobhan, I think you'll love Cade the Torture Crossing.
I'm so excited.
It's almost Silent Hilly, by the way. It takes place in a mental asylum. It's more horror than like the other films I've seen of his.
Interesting.
And also, it's very reminiscent of a David Lynch film, more than the other Neil Breen things I've seen. He definitely goes for something. Again, I have to give him props. He's putting his vision on screen. There's no filter there. The only thing that's missing is if he had a budget like of $1 million even, I would like to see that. But for now, for the budget he has, he's doing great work.
Give him the Mandalorian.
The
circular green screen technology.
That would be incredible. I will say it is impressive because there are moments when like Cade invites these people who have escaped the mental hospital, the mental asylum. It's supposed to be like an evil hospital where like this corporation is testing these kids for something. They're trying to find like a cure for death or something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but these patients escape. He takes them to his mansion. And these characters these kids are walking up the stairs, but it's all green screen. But there's attention to detail there that impressed me, where every step they take matches the green screen picture that like it's being projected on. Like, does that make sense? It's like that's some dedication there. Like, it's not all perfect, obviously, but my God, I'm glad he's where he is now.
Are you ready to wrap this up, Marcelo?
I am. I think we've covered a lot of Neil Breen. Yeah.
Well, I would like you to read this. I'm going to send it to the chat. This is the last thing written. The last sentence written in the credits of Twisted Pair. I wrote it down word for word. I'm sending it to the Skype chat. I would like you to read this.
Thanks to all AI futurists, scientists, computer scientists, AI theorists, and all others for your thought-provoking ideas. Neil Breen. Oh, you're welcome, Neil.
AI futurists, AI theorists, scientists, computer scientists.
Scientists, computer scientists. Oh, God. He is incredible. So I guess, wrapping this up, final thoughts. Like, I can't believe I'm gushing so much about Neil Breen. I want to see more of his work, and I want to see more people be aware of his work. That excitement I felt seeing Cade the Torture Crossing last week, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, that's what I want in a movie screening. Just people just going wild for it. Being on that level of like, we know why we're here. We're here to see this insane thing made by this person who is not of this world. And we're on board. And people were cheering, like I said, at the end. Chanting Neil. Neil, you did it. Someone shouted, you did it again, Neil.
That's awesome. I hope he knows he's loved.
Yeah.
He makes cool shit. He's a great artist. It's somebody I want to look out for, somebody I want to support. And yeah, absolutely recommend wholeheartedly seeking out his work.
Yeah. So if anything, if these last, how long have we been talking about Neil? Like 30, 40 minutes have proved anything is, ideal scenario, get some friends who are like-minded. Don't treat this as entirely, making fun of something bad. Be open-minded, but also have fun. Get a group of friends, watch Fateful Findings or Twisted Pair. Have some fun watching Neil Breen movies. And spread the word. Because it took me, 11 years to finally watch a Neil Breen movie after first hearing about him. And now I'm telling you who are listening, go watch a Neil Breen movie. There you go. All right.
Yeah, there actually is kind of like a Black Lodge. I've got Twisted Pair playing in the background. There is kind of like a Black Lodge kind of thing. Like the meeting with like the fairy and the guy with the jewels whose voice is like vocoded. And the painting that like comes to life. Whatever.
I mean,
amazing
honestly,
stuff.
I'm not going to tell you why Cade the Tortured Crossing reminded me of Inland Empire, but it reminded me of Inland Empire. Wait, have you seen Inland Empire yet?
No, I haven't. I own that Criterion. I will watch it before I watch Cade the Tortured Crossing now.
Yeah, please. Double feature it up. Cade and Inland Empire. Okay, so there we go. Box office game. So,
how much is Neil Breen made at the box office?
I could not find any box office numbers on any Neil Breen film. So what I did, and this will just be quick. This will be reminiscent to last week's. I went to Box Office Mojo and went with like last week. I quizzed you on the top 10 all-time grossing films underneath the genre keyword of vampire, in honor of The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This week, the genre keyword is twin. So, the top 10 genre keyword twin movies, box office, domestic. Can you guess the top 5? Just shout out some titles. See how far you get in here.
Twins.
That's number 1. All right, you win. That's there's like no other. Okay, name another one.
Social Network.
So actually, that's a good one. I don't think that's on this list. That should be on this list.
I was thinking, does like Freaky Friday count?
Also not on the list. I should say this.
I don't know. Like that one just felt like maybe it'd be in some weird loophole.
Honestly, this list has only 27 movies. I'm surprised Twisted Pair isn't on this because the bottom one made $13,000.
Amazing. What's that one?
The Pretty One, which I have no idea. Yeah, there's a fairly obvious one. Oh wait, did you say Freaky Friday?
I did, yeah.
Did you not mean another Lindsay Lohan movie?
Oh yes, of course. The Parental Trap.
Yes, The Parental Trap. Number 3, The Parent Trap. I'll give you one hint. In the top 5, there's a martial arts one.
Martial arts.
And another one, I'll give you another hint, stars a comedian that I think you enjoy. We've spent a lot of time talking about. You could say we did a commentary where he starred in a movie that we commentated over. Let's say he produced another movie that we saw for a commentary.
Damn it. It is weird how I don't.
All right, I'm going to pull up some more information. So this movie, the number 2, I'm going to reveal the number 2 movie on this list by the comedian. We've talked about him and his movies a lot. This movie opened on November 11th, 2011. 11/11/11. Wow.
And there's 2 of them.
Yeah, 1/1. Yeah. The comedian plays his own twin. Worldwide, it made $149 million. Rated PG?
Jeez,
is that right?
Like Nutty Professor?
You're close.
Am I?
Kind of. Is Nutty Professor even on this list? This is a bad list, by the way. Nutty Professor.
Norbit? Are there two Norbits?
Oh wait, there's no twin in Nutty Professor. He's just playing himself, but thinner.
Well, he's playing like an entire family of people. I don't know,
that is
maybe
true.
There's some twins in there.
But this movie is a legit twin movie.
Twin movie.
You're gonna kick yourself. I'm gonna start reading the synopsis.
Oh! Jack and Jill.
You got it. That's it.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That was number 2. Number 3, Parent Trap. Number 4, The Man in the Iron Mask. And number 5, The One. And that is the top. Those are the top 5 twin movies.
Looks like it sounds like they put number 5 at the wrong spot. Should have been number 1.
We've done our job here.
Absolutely.
Literally,
nobody can say we haven't.
So next week, we're gonna have special guests. Hopefully, if things pan out. If they don't, it'll just
really special guests.
If they don't pan out for whatever reason, it'll just be me and Siobhan. But possible guests next week on this show. That's exciting. Just find out next week if it happens. But there will be an episode next week. Next week's big release is Gran Turismo.
Ooh. What are we watching?
Yeah, what are we watching? We
got race car movies. We've got Rush. We've got Turbo. We've got Need for Speed. We've got Gran Torino. We've got French Connection.
Yeah, these are all racing movies.
The Fast and Furious, the original one.
Okay, so there's a lot of racing movies, a lot of car movies. I had to double check too. So Gran Turismo is the big one, but
Don
also
John. You know, he's got his ride, his boys, his porn, right?
What?
His pad. Don John, you remember? He's got like 6 things he cares about in life. His family, his ride, his pad, his car, his girls, and his porn. Isn't that? It's something like that.
Why is it every time we're on mic, you want to talk about Don John? Why is that?
That movie lives rent free in my head. I don't know why. I'm sorry about it.
I was also going to say Bottoms comes out next week, but we're doing racing movies.
Bottoms.
I want us to do
Homophobic.
Days of Thunder.
That we're going to do a racing movie instead of the lesbian movie, but cool. But I'm a cheerleader or something. But no, yeah. Let's
could also do that. You know what? Listen, Siobhan, we could do two in one, like we did for the Dark Knight and Mamma Mia. We can do 2. So I say we do Days of Thunder. It's a classic movie.
Days of Thunder. Oh, I love it.
In my opinion, I said the C word. It's classic. In my book, great racing
and
movie.
Off air, you said the C word a lot too.
Yeah, I said that's what I called Tom Cruise. He's just a big C. I suggest we do a Bottoms inspired pick as well. I think we do both. Okay, let's spread our wings here.
But I'm a cheerleader's on Tubi. But and I own the Blu-ray.
I own it on digital, so we can see that. But I'm a cheerleader. I mean, it doesn't fit in our blockbuster.
Sure. Okay. What's a lesbian blockbuster? or I guess we could do like a teen sex comedy. That's what it is. We could do like Superbad.
But hey, technically, But I'm a Cheerleader came out July 7th in the year 2000, so it is a summer movie. It's a summer release.
Saved, maybe.
Saved.
I watched that pretty recently.
I saw half of that. I could watch the other half.
It's a good movie.
Saved. That came out May 28th, 2004. Would you call that a blockbuster?
Money? I don't know.
It's independent. No, but there's what is a blockbuster with lesbians?
I know.
I'm gonna type in lesbian
Carol
blockbusters.
Blue is the warmest color.
Maybe that's a good thing that Bottoms is opening technically in the summer. Right? There's a lack of gay.
Fair.
It's like gay rom-com / raunchy comedy.
Yeah, it's got that teen raunchy sex comedy stuff. We can watch Sex Drive.
Yeah. Was Sex Drive a summer blockbuster?
I have to imagine they tried to be anyway. I doubt it made any money, but
yeah, no. So it's hey, we can expand it to high school movies.
Yeah,
because yeah,
8th grade.
Now I'm looking up American Pie. I'm betting. I bet American Pie was a summer movie. Yeah,
interesting. Sex Drive came out October.
American Pie, July 9th, 1999.
American Pie does seem like a good comp for that. And there's some lesbian stuff in there, I think.
Oh, sexy. Yeah. I haven't seen American Pie like in 20 years. I'd watch American Pie.
Last time I revisited it, it held up. So see if it does that again.
It's on Peacock. Hell yeah.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. All right.
Doing it.
Go to Paramount to watch Days of Thunder. Go to Peacock to watch American Pie. Perfect.
This is going to be great. I'm going to jump on the Discord and DM our future guests to see if they can do this. But hey, if they can't, fuck them. Next week, Days of Thunder and American Pie. Wow. I'm excited. And then the week after that, we have to figure out a Denzel movie for the Equalizer 3. But
interesting.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we've nailed down. I'm excited about this, honestly.
Speaking of nails, the Equalizer uses a nail gun.
I'm excited about Days of Thunder, American Pie. But for now, we have to say goodbye. Plugs, Siobhan, anything? You have a plug, by the way. You've been very dodgy about giving out plugs, but I know you have something to promote. Just promote it. For God's sake, just say it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The thing that literally came out today.
Oh, sure, yeah. I made a guest appearance. I didn't forget about it. I was like, is that what he's talking about? Okay. So I made a guest appearance on a lovely podcast hosted by a man named Brad called The Album Concept Hour. Really cool podcast where every week they do a different concept album and talk about the songs in depth. I chose the Against Me album, Transgender Dysphoria Blues, and we got it's a heavy album. We get into some heavy topics, have some heavy talks. Really fun time, great stuff, good podcast. And you can follow me over at Junkblader on X.
Oh God, I'm not going to call it that. Yeah, go listen to that episode, Siobhan. I'm sure it was great.
Thank you. You're not going to listen to it, are you?
Listen, we can talk about that off mic. As for me, talkfilmsociety.com, patreon.com/talkfilmsociety to check out the commentaries. By the way, we have to record a commentary soon. I realize that it's halfway through the month. Whose pick is it this month, by the way? Is it mine?
I think so.
We trade off for our commentaries on the Patreon.
did Terrifier last time, so yeah, it's yours.
Yeah, so stay tuned at the end of this month in August. We will have recorded a commentary for something that I picked. I'll think about that, and we'll do that soon. And also check out for something on the Patreon in regards to, say, a horror film franchise that has at least 9 parts. It could be a lot of things. You don't know. You have to find out in September when we release it. And that's it. Siobhan, thank you as always.
And that's the tea.
And now for my signature catchphrase. Hey, I'll see you at the movies. Nope. I never say that. All right. Bye.